Connects, where we deconstruct the artist and the artistry. My name is Lee Tabo, but you can call me Lee. Today, I have a special guest with me, an R&B phenom, a lyrical maestro, a person who could vocal the house down, and who released one of the best albums of 2020 called 1111. I have with me Rowlene. How are you?
I'm good, thanks. How are you doing?
I'm well. So let's just get straight into this album. What does this album mean to you at this point in your career?
So this is my debut album. The whole concept behind it was just trying to navigate what I thought was the perfect place and time and moment and alignment for me at the time. So the whole compilation, it was a playlist to me of music or songs that I really enjoyed listening to, and songs that I can listen to now on repeat and not get tired of. So regardless of the amount of music I make on a daily basis, it's just that album specifically and the song, the track list, every single thing that like led up to it. It's just the beginning. And I believe that you can't really look back and like judge something without starting. And that was it for me, like just saying, like, I feel like a lot of artists are afraid of what comes with your first album or the pressure that comes with their first album. And with me, it was just like, yo, I'm always gonna be better than the last song. Like, that's the best song I made today, but tomorrow I'm gonna try and beat that. So with this album, it was just starting, like dropping something that I firmly believed in was a masterpiece that is timeless and something that my kids can listen to one day and be like, yo, that is dope. Like, you actually did that.
That was my mama.
Yeah, you know what I mean? So like, that's personally how that the entire thought of even dropping the time that I did, every single thing was really well constructed to fit my persona and how I felt I wanted things to be told to the world, or how I want my story to be told. Yeah.
So I'm gonna jump in right into the first opening record of the album, Stop.
Yeah.
Why did you want to start on that particular record, on that note, which is so assertive and so...
Exactly, it's assertive. I started, the tracklist thing I feel like was the hardest part. The music was the easiest part. The tracklist thing I felt like, because as a person that really enjoys music, the way a person constructs the project is very important to me. Because like, how are you trying to tell the story? What is the type of person you are, or who? Like, what is the entire narrative behind it? And with me, it's like there wasn't really a narrative of this is what I stand for, but more of this is what I'm learning, and this is how I've already approached literally everything. Because with that record specifically, I felt like I needed to set the tone of what I'm trying to do for the rest of my life. And I'm always gonna be this emotive or emotional person, or this person that's always empathic and want to hug everyone, but there comes a time where you need to kind of set boundaries for yourself and understand that with kindness, like, people are always gonna somewhat, to a degree, take that for weakness or take advantage of that. And musically, for me, being in spaces with so many artists or so many people that create, I needed to understand my worth and also like be like, yo, this is raw and this is, I'm not standing for that, like I'm not okay with that. And I felt like Stop was such a cool song to start off with saying, yo, I know I'm that person, like I know that I'm like, you know, like I know what I'm worth and you need me. So it's just understanding.
What was also interesting to me about that record, like towards the end of that record, there kind of is like a tonal shape.
Yeah.
Singing, you know.
Yeah. Yeah.
Why did you want to add that layer to that record?
To just, I don't know, to just showcase the fact that I really can do whatever I want musically, and it's really a form of expression, and I'm not going to let someone else dictate or tell me how I need to express myself, or this is an R&B song, it should only sound like this. I don't think that there's a rule book for how you should put out your music or how it should sound, or tonally or sonically or whatever. I just really like contrast, period. Like musically, I enjoy that. I enjoy what music evokes, or being pushed to a certain extent to get that message from me. And being in a space with different songwriters, different producers, different just energies brings out so much different things from me musically. And that specific song, man, like we had so much fun recording it. I can tell you that. Like we had so much fun.
speaking about the whole notion of, you know, just doing things differently in terms of the album, in terms of what you do sonically is very different. I mean, Stop is a very trap R&B sensibility to it, whereas Even is like more
very R&B
ballad.
Yeah.
And then you give me Danger, which is giving me very like Billboard Top 100 pop record. What was the motivation behind going into different pockets sonically?
Is to just, like I said, fundamentals is very important. And knowing that my first album was better than a lot of people's fourth or third, like I'm not, there's no shade, it's just knowing that
facts are my favorite.
And you know what I mean, like it's just knowing that I can do something that like a Danger, and I can do Even, there's a track that I did Curtain Call about 2 years ago, and it's so different to what people think I'm capable of sonically, and it was just setting the tone for, look, you have no idea what to expect for the second album. I could go full on Even route and be completely R&B, or I can be completely pop and go the Danger route and do that, but both is still me. It's still who I am as an artist. It's not me being confused of what I want to sound like or the message I'm trying to tell or any of that. It's just me knowing what I'm capable of and being able to put that out in my first project, and people now knowing, yo, we cannot mess with her. Like, that's, if she wants to do R&B, she can definitely body this entire genre. So I did that with my album also because the playlist thing. Being able to listen to from track 1 to track 12, and every single one of those tracks give me different vibes. In the car, I'm jamming, and it's feelings that I can relate to, it's emotions that I feel other people can relate to, it's stories that I feel other people can tell. And that's literally how the entire album came about. Okay.
And I know that you worked with the different producers. I know you worked with Noble. I know you have Zuki Coke Dope on Creeping specifically. What was the conversation, since you obviously went in different places with the Sonics, what were the conversations with them about what you specifically wanted for each song?
I literally just said, let's make music. I walked into the studio and I was like, yo guys, let's work. Like, that's it. There was no, I love that we had the conversation of, what song do you want to make today? And I was like, I want to make a hot song. That's it. I want to make a hot song that makes me feel good, and today I'm happy. So let's make a happy, hot song.
And were there any challenges?
Never. There's never been any production challenges, only because I'm insatiable musically. So there was one song, track 5, Signs. I reproduced that song at least 10 times. At least 10 times. Because I knew what I wanted it to feel like. I didn't know what I wanted it to sound like. And lyrically, it felt like every single thing I wanted to tell at the time. But with the beat, it was just like, it's not accompanying this well enough for it to hit like here. And I was like, we need to get a proper piano sound. It's the sound. And they're like, okay, we got a different person to play it. It's like, it's not that, it's not that. It's still not home. It still doesn't feel like home. We need to, like, and then I played something else, like, do you know what that song feels like? It needs to feel like that. Like, that was it. And we were on a song, like a songwriting camp in Cape Town last year around this time, when we created Danger, Stop, Sunday Morning. And the creatives who I was working with at the time, we literally never met before. So we all be camped for a week, but I only met one other person that was there. And we walked in, we spoke to each other like we knew each other for years. We started setting up, we already started the banter, and straight from there, it was literally just up.
So you think that instant connection was part of the reason why there was like...
Energy is very important with music. You can be the dopest artist with the shittiest attitude. Like, I don't think it's very conducive. Like, a lot of people will come back and be like, oh, I don't want to work with that person again, because they either they don't want to, or they're not trying to try something new, or they're not pushing themselves, or they know that, yo, I'm definitely a pop singer and I only want to make songs that is 64, 80 BPM at this key, whatever. I'm not that person. When I walk into the studio, I'm the canvas, and I'm just like, you know what, guys, let's handle. Like, I don't know when I walk out the studio, I know, like, I'm gonna play the song the whole way home.
Okay, so it sounds to me like there's a lot of freestyling that goes on
Definitely.
in the record.
Definitely.
So then when it comes to like finally finalizing the record, how are you able to kind of maintain continuity even though you are going different places production-wise?
Again, the music is me. I'm very honest, I'm very transparent. So the one thing that is always going to be consistent is the fact that it's coming from me. And it's always me telling my story. There's no other, like I don't prefer it any other way. So with the continuity, I feel like I have really supportive peers and friends that always tell me like, yo, no, that's gas. That's not a vibe. Like, and I'm like, hey, cool, great. We never take it personally, ever. It's never a personal thing. It's just like, hey, cool, great. Let's just go into the studio and work on something else. Or I'm feeling a little uninspired. How do I, like, I don't know, I have this hook, but I feel like it's missing something. What do you think I should change? Like, just being open to critique. Like, there's absolutely nothing wrong with that, because when your music goes out to the rest of the world, there's a lot of other people that is not in your circle that has different sonic capabilities and also what they prefer. So with continuity, it was really just trying to stay honest and putting music in folders that make sense. So knowing that I'm the type of person that makes music based off my emotion, I have to be like, okay, sad folder, happy folder. Like, that's me. Like, oh, okay, no one's ever gonna hear this folder. Like, there's really times where I'm just venting and I'm just trying to get something across, but the person's not listening. And I'm just like, maybe I should just change the tone and say it differently. And that's how a song comes out.
Okay. I want to hop into one of my favorite albums on the record, Hypnotized, featuring Nonsa Madi. Great song.
Thank you.
Why did you specifically pick him for that record, and what do you think he brought to that song? It was such a weird story, actually, because social media really made a lot of things easier for me, like musically. Like, just because I'm the type of person that if I want something, I'm gonna go and get it. Like, that's just it. And with him, I heard his track No Crime that he dropped 3 or 4 years ago, 2017, yo, it's long ago. And I was just like, yo, this guy is up next. Like, he's really up next. And he was from Nigeria. I'm like, yo, I really need to hit this guy up. And I tried to hit him up, but then he had already hit me up. And I was like, whoa, synchronized. Like, it's crazy. And that's why 11/11. Like, it was just every single thing, not in any order particularly, but everything it just fell into place. Every single thing I feel like fell into place at the right time. I met the right people at the right time. I haven't even met him like face to face. We've had video calls and we're actually quite close now, but I've never met him. Junior actually met him in LA a year ago. I was so mad. I was like, how did you meet him before me? And like, I haven't even, you know? So it's just like, what, dog? I have like 4, and we have like 4 songs together already. Oh. So I'm the type of artist that also, once I start working with you, it's just like, I knock that shit out like in 1 week. So in a space of like 2 days, he sent me 5 songs and told me, yo, I'm busy working on a project. Maybe you can listen to something. If you really like something, let me know, whatever. And Hypnotized was the first song that stood out because he had already had the hook and his verse. I'm just like, you know what? I'm taking this. It's mine. I'm sorry. Like, there's none, like, we can talk about it. I can give you 3 other songs in exchange plus a beat. Like, that's usually how I negotiate. It's just like, I'll give you this verse or I'll give you this. Like, it's always a trade exchange musically. Like, it's never ever, yo, you need to pay me $50,000. It's never ever. Because again, music is really something so close to my heart. It's a personal thing in terms of how I would want to connect with another person. So in terms of duality as well, even if you're a shitty person and we make really good music together, that's where it will stay. But I prefer like having a connection with the person because it's easier to push the song. It's easier to tell the narrative. It's easier to make more music. It's easier to get into studio and you understanding where my head's at without me even having to say, Ish, I'm feeling a little blue today. So with him, it was really just, yo, I really like the song, can I have it? And he was like, yeah, sure, dog. I need to come to South Africa anyway. And I was like, sure, great. Great teamwork. And what do you kind of think he brought to the album?
He brought such a good, like, he's such a good human. Like, he's hot, like, he's such a good person. Like, he's always talking good about everyone. He's such a positive person. And I love, like, I surround myself with people like that, period. And every single person on my album, including him, radiates that energy regardless, like, full on 100%. So I genuinely, and he's completely off social media right now, completely. He hasn't been on Instagram, Twitter, and without him even trying to push, because he's gone right now, the song is literally the best song. Like, it's numbers-wise, stats-wise, Hypnotized is #1 right
so
now.
It's one of the best performing records on the album?
Literally. I didn't expect it. I did, but I didn't. You know, like there's other songs that I expected.
Like Stop and Creeping would be the ones.
I didn't even think Creeping didn't even almost make the project. Like last minute, like Junior's like, yo, what do you mean Creeping's not on the project? I'm like, because it's too personal. What the fuck?
That was literally going to be one of my questions.
Exactly.
I guess you can just dive
It was in the folder of no one's ever gonna hear this. And he was just like, why would you play this to me if you thought that it wasn't gonna make the project? And I was like, exactly that. Like I played it to you because it wasn't gonna make the project.
Okay, so then this prompts me to ask you then, like the album, especially considering that it is your debut album, dives into so many interesting topics. You're going into femininity, you're going into heartbreak, you're going into infidelity. Why did you want to go there on your first album?
Because I feel like if people understand my heart on the first go, or understand the type of person I am on the first album, there will be no expectations of, I'm definitely gonna outdo that album. There's no way, there's no way. I'm always making great music. So just knowing that the fundamentals again is so important. And being able to touch on those topics and still be relatable, and knowing that someone that's 17 can relate to at least 4 songs, and there's someone that's 35, 40 that can at least relate to every single one of those songs because they've had that experiences growing up, or they're in that situation right now. So I like telling stories that spark interest from like even Creeping, like that when I started on that song. The sample sparked the concept because it was a Drew Hill song that they did way back in, I think, the 90s. Yeah, it was definitely the 90s. Drew Hill's late 80s, early 90s. So that specific concept was from a song that they did then, and I was like, how do I make this mine? And I just manipulated the sample to my storytelling.
So there wasn't any fear on your end in terms of getting in there, especially if you're saying that a lot of it is a bit autobiographical?
All the songs I make is a little too hectic or too intense, or I'm really telling too much of the story. But I don't mind that. I really don't. Like, I feel like it's a diary and you can always go back and be like, yo. I can go back to my first song ever recorded and be like, aw. That's it. I'm just like, aw. I'm just like, aw, that's so cute. That's such a cute song. And I'm like, I would never make music like that again. But the fact that I can go back to it and really listen to it and be like, yo, Ro in 2012 was really in a different headspace compared to Ro in 2021.
Okay, your other collaborators on the album, Manana, who you have a close relationship with, and obviously Nasty C. What do you think they've brought to you, and what do you think they brought to the album, and what have they brought to you, like on a personal level? Work
ethic, definitely. Again, I surround myself with a lot of like-minded people, or people that are way surpassed that, because I want to learn all the time. I'm the type of person that just wants to learn and soak in as much information or anything. Like, even if I'm sitting there, like, I record myself, I write my own shit, I mix my own shit. Like, I'm that person, but not because I'm arrogant or it's my ego, or it's just that I really know, like, I want to sit there and be able to grasp what it is. Like, how did you get that to sound like that? And why did you specifically choose that reverb over that reverb? And they'll explain to me that, no, because like with an emotion, you're trying to evoke this and this and that and that and that. So I keep that with me for the next time I go and I record something, like, oh, okay, wait, I shouldn't use this bass, I should use this one, whatever. So with Junior, we've been friends for a very, very, very long time. One of the first people I met in this industry was him. And we managed to just build a relationship that consisted of, we always put the music first. We set up 2 mics and put on our headphones, and we're just singing random shit all the time until we find that one melody that sticks, and he's like, yo, can you sing that again? Or cry. He really tells me to cry. I don't know why or what it means, but I understand. And the terminology is not musical and it doesn't make sense. It's not theoretical, but we understand each other. And the same with myself and Manana. I only met him like a year ago, and we already have, I don't even know how many songs.
A hit record.
Like, guys, that song, oh my God. Oh, yeah. A Grammy. I'm sorry. I've already said it. I'm sorry. Like, I'm sorry. I set my standards quite high, and I live to obtain it. So
Speaking of standards and meeting and all this stuff, I mean, Make-A-Wish actually speaks to that, right? And what I found interesting, that's like an interesting element of the album, is the voice recordings. You have it at the beginning of Creeping, you have it in Make-A-Wish. What's the other record I'm forgetting? Oh, you also have Almost Interlude. Why was that element important to add to the album?
Character, I think. Again, speaking on the type of person I am, all the people, like there were so many voice notes and I couldn't, and it's not like I had and said, yo, can you please like say something sweet to me or be cute. I just posted up a status one day saying, I'm finishing up the album, if you had one thing you could say to me right now, what would it be? And I feel like a lot of people knew what the purpose was because I was very straightforward and transparent about like what I was gonna do with it. But having to pick, like I got very emotional because a lot of people had said things that I didn't even think of or put myself in, like I didn't see myself there yet. But it's just the fact that people already can grasp my intentions and I don't even know how to put it, and also try and contribute to that and not expect anything in return. Especially with the production of this entire body of work, was I got to work with people that weren't selfish. They were open to their art being like broken to pieces, because I'm that type. I'm like, oh, I don't like that synth. I wanna, can you please? And no one was like, no, you have to pay me for the beats change. No one. Everyone was like, yeah, cool. Even was produced by Select Play. And I had a session with Ali Keys just to do like, you know, one final run through, make sure that there's enough everything, and remove once I felt like there was too much. He made that song, like he turned it, it wasn't what it was, until I was like, whoa, your brain, bro, like what the hell, how did you get there? He's like, no, I sampled your vocal in that part. I was like, I understand, but like, what? Like, and no one else could have done that. No one else could have done it. I swear to you, no one else could have done that. So just the power of collaboration and trusting someone else's brain, because that's how we perceive and get and listen to music and just process it as humans. It's being able to share that with someone and take in what they're trying to share with you, and not being completely against it or saying, oh no, but I thought it was good. Like it could be better. Like you could be happier. But you need to be okay to take in that notes of, listen, maybe that note you could have sang it like that. Like, okay, let's do it. And do it. If you don't like it, then you don't like it. But you can't knock it until you try it. So
I want to touch on vocals just in a second, but just before I get there, last thing on the voice recordings, you obviously had the Omar Hardwick interlude. How did you go about hooking that up?
Oh no, we're really close. Like yeah, no, he's one of mentors. Like he's very hectic as a person. Like whenever he texts you, you need to decipher it for like a month. But very good heart, very good intentions. Like he's been in this industry, so like he was also trying to tap into. He's always been a poet. Like he's always been. I mean,
we all remember him doing that. What was that? The poem. I think it was on BET where he redid the poem.
Oh yes. That was because he was in Cape Town last year. They were busy shooting a movie that just dropped now, and he then hit me up. He's like, yo, I'm in Cape Town, and I was in Joburg, and I literally flew to Cape Town to go and see him. I was like, yo, I'll be there. Like I'll make a plan, but I'll come and I'll whatever. And I ended up being busy that entire week of me being there, because I wasn't supposed to be there. But when I said I was going to be there, I got interviews. I had a show. I then got super hectic. And he's like, yo, can you please pull up to the studio, like where they were shooting the movie, and it was in Stellenbosch. And I'm like, bro, do you know how far that is? Like, there's no way. I'm coming all the way to Stellenbosch. Like, no. And then you know what he did? The day that I had to fly out, he drove all the way to my hotel, waited. And I was like, there's no way you're standing outside my hotel. And everyone freaked out. And I was just like, what the hell? Like, why are you here? He's like, I'm driving you to the airport. And I'm like, crazy. He literally took me to my boarding gate. Like, he walked with me all the way. And when people stopped him, he was like, people stopped him and they were like, Ghost. And he's like, at least respect me enough to call me by my real name. Yeah. And he's like, oh, I can't, his character. Oh man, he's such like, oh, I can't.
So you kind of let him riff?
I was like, listen, this is my album. It's 11/11, go off, fam.
Oh, okay.
Go off. I don't care what you have to say, but I know you're going to say some dope shit. So go off. And 2 days later, he had sent me what he felt. He's like, oh, this is such a beautiful concept. And I'm like, thank you. And he's like, please send me the songs. I'm like, no, wait. Wait, like, because I'm a perfectionist. He then sent me his project, and he's like, can you please just tell me what you think? And he was very interested. He kept like following up, like, yo, which track do you really like? What do you think I could change? Like what? And the fact that he respects my artistry enough to like take my critique or my comments like to heart and go and change those things, it was hectic for me. I'm like, whoa, we're on that level. But I can really go and ask him for it. He even promoted the project. I didn't expect that. He went and posted about it. And he's like, catch my sister's album, it's out right now, it's hot, whatever. I was like, whoa, that's crazy. That's really crazy. But to me, it's also just because I can hit him, like he hits me up, and because the time zone is crazy. But when he hits me up, it's like he's always talking for like days. So he's a really cool person.
I want to get into the vocals of this album because I think you really take us through your range in different albums, whether it's a very trap record, you still maintain. What was your approach in terms of like how you were going to go about, you know, showing us your vocal?
Man, I know I can sing. I really just wanted to have fun. Like because I know that people know that I can sing. They've seen me live, they've seen me perform on these like covers and videos and all that. I personally wanted to, again, look back and be like, shit, you did that. So vocal capabilities from Danger, from going all the way down here, to taking it there, then bringing it back down. Then Piece of Heaven, that was extremely excruciating in the beginning, but muscle memory. On the performance, I don't know if you've seen it, the performance, the live thing that I just dropped on Apple. I literally told the band, we're only doing the song once. My vocal range right now is not to do the whole album and still do that song twice. You're crazy. You're absolutely crazy. We're doing it once. You better get it right. And we literally only did it once for the performance, and I was like, and that's it, cut, we're done, next song.
So that was actually interesting to me, is that Piece of Heaven is like where you go to the highest of highs, where Sunday morning we're tempering the lows. Was it any challenge for you? I mean,
Sunday morning's actually quite high. I'm singing, like, it's just that I'm falsettoing that entire song. But mentally I was just like, shit, it needs to be perfect. Like I need to be whispering. Like when people hear this, it needs to be like, I'm here, I'm whispering in their ear. But when they're listening to Piece of Heaven, they need to feel it like I'm telling a story. I'm singing from my gut and my heart and chest full on. I'm giving it my all. So I wanted that. I wanted the duality of, yes, I can be soft and sweet, but I can also be very emotional, and I can really like dig into the parts of me that is trying to tell a very true story, whether it's mine or someone else's.
And I think those records capture it brilliantly. I mean, I love how you sonically approach those records. And now for the final question. Oh gosh, I could ask you a billion more, to be quite frank, but I mean, time is of the essence. You start where you ended with Stop, but this time it's with the remix with Nasty C. Why did you want to end on that note, and what do you hope like the audience takes away from the entire body of work when it's all said and done?
That it's the best thing that I feel like happened for anyone else trying to do this. Because I feel like the way the industry is set up right now, we're always having to conform, and I understand it. It took me a very long time to understand how important brand is. Because to me it's like, I want to wake up and look like this. Why do I need to be that? But people want to be able to touch you, but they want to know that they can't. So having to set that boundary and still be the girl next door is like, it was very difficult. But understanding that there are so many other people that are super talented. Like talent is hectic. Like it's not like we have, like there isn't talent. I think it's just ethic that kind of sets a lot of people back, because they're expecting other people to do it for them, or they're expecting the manager to go and know things that they're supposed to know. There's so many like little nitpicking things, but just the understanding that if you're really trying to do this thing, you need to like really try, hey? Like you need to ask all the uncomfortable questions. You need to be in the rooms and understand like, yo, I'm that bitch, man. Like I'm not gonna like, just because X, Y, and Z's here, I now need to like fall back into my chair. Like I did the hardest song for like, come on guys, like that is my level of confidence when it comes to my music. Like, it's unquestionable, it's unwavering. I'm just like, when I walk into a room, I expect people to be serious, but not like serious like, oh, okay, like we're all mad. Serious to a point like, we're gonna get something, we're at least gonna get 2 songs today, right? Like, you understand that I'm not here to just chill. So yeah, like, taking this shit seriously is very important, regardless of anything else. Like, taking this shit seriously is extremely important. Having the discipline to actually see those goals through. It's just making sure that other people understand that there's steps to this, but you can really make whatever you want to make and be content to that. Like, you don't need someone else to tell you that you sound lazy when that's your sound. Like, you just sing like that, and there's people that's doing it. Like, if one person doesn't like it, there's gonna be 20 other people that are gonna be like, yo, that's the best song I've ever heard, you know? So don't take the no's and just be like, they said no. Be like, why are you saying no? What exactly don't you like? What do you think I could change? I'm not saying I'm going to, but asking the right questions. And even if it makes you uncomfortable, it's really going to serve you in the long run.
All right. Thank you so much, Rowlene, for coming and chatting to us. Thank you guys for tuning in. Is there anything you want to plug?
Go and check out my album, guys. Just go and check out my album. It is on my profile, Instagram at Rowlene_SA. I just dropped a live version of my album at Home with Rowlene. It's on Apple Music exclusively right now, but go and check it out. Like,
and where can the people find you on the socials? At
Rowlene_SA everywhere, super consistent. Being consistent is also very key in the shit. So, yeah.
Our time may be over, but the party is not. So you can catch us on all social channels. That's your Facebooks, your Twitter, your Instagram, your TikToks, at Bubblegum Club. Until next time, we'll see you. Bye.